Hello. As you know, my name is Tara, and I have been working closely with Alberta's advocate, Jess, and I just thought I'd touch base with you guys. So far, what has been happening is that our discussions have turned from talking about the issue to coming up with a solution and what could or can be done about it. Now, we've moved from basically going from not only cutting or getting rid of the PDD IQ test here in Alberta, which puts many of us at a very bad situation for which no one gets the services they need unless they are very low functioning or lower than 70 on the IQ, when we all know that cognitive and IQity have no bearing because one has to do with books and the other has to do with judgment or emotional standpoint and how you see your world. And from there, we started making and coming up with plans to bring in a vocational programming that bases all its bases all programming or services around the individual need. In other words, if you have severe disability with many different issues that are comorbid with whatever disability the person might have, then they encompass that person and the disability or disabilities that that person may have concerning behavioral ability and otherwise. If someone is, say, like me, where they may have issues with, say, banking or cleaning or that sort of thing, then they get their needs met in all areas, including their interests, like where they want to be in life, say, in a year or two. And from there, they work with the person on a one-to-one base, both in community, in a training vocational type environment, which trains the person on, say, a hands-on level when it comes to actual job type things. Like prime example, Peak has an area for basically a clothing store. Like it's a thrift shop, and they take all the participants and train them there before they get the real hands-on environment in a real job type setting. And these are crucial areas for which a person actually gets trained with a worker, and then they go from there and go into the actual employment sector for which a worker goes with you on a one-to-one level on the job. And there again, they're getting trained on the job by both the worker, and the employer. And from there, um, these kind of places never phase out of your life because it's for life. And no matter your age, that program will the person will benefit from the program because it is able to change with your needs and your disability as you age, or as interests change, or whatever might crop up in a person's life that otherwise may not be at that moment. And this is very important for someone like us. And that's pretty much where things are. I meet again with Jesse for lunch next week sometime. And from there, we get to discuss other plans concerning this. And I hope you guys are um, happy that someone decided to step out and say something and speak with someone on a hands-on level, as in face to face, and say, hey, look, you know what? I know lots of people who are too afraid to say anything, but yet they want something out of life, and it's more than what they have now. Most of us have nothing for supports, and a lot of us end up divorced or not ever having the ability of having uh, trusting or long lasting relationships because of the inability to socialize. And that's where programs like these come in handy, because they teach you all of these skills, all of these abilities to be able to keep and hold friendships or have a loving relationship like I do, but even I have a hard time with it. And that's where workers come in hand, where they can help a couple on a hands-on level, um, by taking the stressors out of a person's life like mine, and it goes on to somebody else's shoulders, so that your husband can be your husband, or your boyfriend could be your boyfriend, or your friend could be your friend instead of your support or your advocate, or whatever they have to be in order to be a part of your life. Instead, all of the things that are support wise are taken away from those that you care about and put onto somebody else's lap, and they help you, because that is a worker's job. That is what a disability skills coach does. And that's what these programs are meant to do. And there's nothing like that here in Edmonton, but there is in Lethbridge. And I want to bring something like that here to Edmonton. And I would love to see at least 3 of them right here in this town within the next 10 years. And then on top of that, I would like other towns, other cities to adopt what I propose into their towns, their cities, their area, wherever they live, because this would greatly help their kids both in the teenage years and throughout the person's adult life, because this encompasses not only high function invisible disabilities like mine, but it will also help their severe disability kids and adults by taking the stresses away from elderly parents, from kids that are 40 plus, and putting it on somebody else. That way, your kids, your adult kids, don't have to worry about their futures or their lives and trying to have to struggle, because the struggle will be over. It'll be pretty much the stressors of having to struggle and survive are going to be gone. And that, for me, is a huge, huge um, thing off my mind. And that's something that people in most of society don't understand, that even though we are, or how we are, what we look like, how we act, isn't what they see. And it's not right. And there should be services, or at least the right kind of providers set in place for people like us, because that's bottom line. How does a person succeed if they have invisible disabilities? Our accessibility is denied all the time because we look the way we do. We're able to dress, we're able to see, hear, and talk absolutely like everybody else, but our mindset, our emotional level is that, for some of us, of a child. For me, it's 16. Whatever it is for you guys, yeah, I'm doing this for those like me who see these barriers, who might have the emotional set at 14, or the emotional set at 16, or the emotional set of whatever. And this should have never happened to us. There should be programs made for individuals like us, where we're able to comprehend what's going on around us, but at the same time, in the same token, we're also able to be independent. But for that, independence comes with a price. That price is the need of a worker or an aide to help us with everyday life skills in areas for which our brains will never develop. And that is what I proposed to the advocate. And from there, like I said, we're starting to make plans for vocational services, for individualized resources and programs for those that are independent or have the ability to be independent, and but still need workers for as long as they live. Talk about um, looking hopefully having a better future. For even if I don't get it, I really hope that all of you out there get it, especially those that are, 20 years younger than me and could use these resources because it's badly needed. Thanks for listening and thanks for supporting. Thanks.